KWT slaying.
Salama family, Salama. How y'all doing today? Hope you're blessed and highly favored. Mr. Tell you say hi to family.
Greetings, family. Salama.
So, family, according to the scriptures, the Most High said, "We would have healed Babylon, but she's not healed. Forsake her, and let us go everyone into his own country, for her judgment reaching unto heaven, and is lifted up even to the skies." Now, there's a lot of things going on today, and you might be getting shows every different hours of the day from now on, right? Because so many things are occurring that can't keep up with it. I told you, sit back, relax, eat your popcorn, drink your cup of coffee, and watch the prophecies come to pass. Now, it boggles my mind that some people still don't think these things matter, right? All things remain the same. That's what they say. Now, my concern is, okay, if you quote unquote Christian and you supposed to be led the Most High, how do you don't see this? A lot of the Gentiles see it. Some of them wannabe Israelites and Christians don't see it. I'm just saying. But here's the thing: Babylon is over. In my opinion, it's my opinion. Eat the meat, spit out the bones. I know some people don't like that. That's your problem, not mine. It means that you take what you can, eat it, and what you can't, spit it out. Go do your research, right? Be like the Bereans. But Babylon has a lot of prophecies that are coming to pass, things we've talked about in the past. And Babylon is a system, but Mystery Babylon is a place. It is America. Some of y'all don't believe that. That's your problem, because you ain't gonna never understand what's happening right now in your face. Now, could things go back to normal? Maybe. I wouldn't bet on it. Would you bet on it, Mr. Tell you things going back to normal? I wouldn't bet on it.
Bet on it. I can't see it happening. There's no way. I mean, people, we told them after 2019, this is your new normal. You are not going back to the way things were. And that has been proven true.
But they say that's fear doctrine.
Hey, when it comes to pass, what is that then? Prophecy?
I guess. But they quick to call somebody a false prophet or whatever, because they don't understand the scriptures, let alone do they hear what you say, or they misinterpret what you say, or they gaslight by what you're saying. Now, I'm just saying, go ahead.
It's easy to throw names out there and label people unjustly because you don't want to deal with the facts. If you notice, the ones that throw those labels out there, they don't have any receipts, nothing to counter the argument. There's nothing to explain what's going on. Yet we told people what was going to happen before it happened.
When it was supposedly normal, right?
When things were supposedly in a normal state, yes.
So, we talked about a lot of these things, and so we got just prophecy upon prophecy upon prophecy coming to pass. Remember, I told you the picture puzzle. It's all of those descriptive imagery in the Bible that tells a story about a captive people who've been judged and how they're going to wake up one day and remember who they are, and they're going to go back to their land and they're going to worship and serve their Elohim. And, the people who then persecuted them are going to be judged. I'm just saying, I don't know what y'all think about it, but to me, I'm like, the world, y'all in trouble. I'm not in trouble because I believe in trusting the Most High. I'm obeying His word. But y'all that's living foul, you better repent.
Well, they think. Sorry to cut you off. They think believing in the Messiah is enough for them to avoid judgment, right? Israel never had a problem believing in Father Yah. They had a problem obeying His commandments, right? So, belief alone ain't gonna change things. You have to be obedient. You can't just say I know He exists and go to church and clap your hands. You have to have a lifestyle of worship in your being, right? And so that's something Israel never did well, and that's something the Gentiles don't do well, and the so-called Christians do not do it well
At all.
Paris is gearing up for next year's Summer Olympics, but for now, they have unwanted invaders. Megan Fitzgerald now on the city's bedbug problem.
According to the CDC, bed bugs are known to hide, tucking into seams of suitcases, folded clothes, bedding, and furniture. While the bugs don't pose a serious medical threat, their bites can result in rashes, blisters, and allergic reactions.
It's terrible. It's the most awful thing that has ever happened.
Maria Melissa Guarte is an American who's lived in Paris for 26 years. She's battled bed bugs twice before.
And when the exterminators came, they told me that they've been really, really busy because Paris has a real problem of bed bugs.
The French government is expected to announce new emergency measures any day as this city prepares to host the Olympic Games next year.
Now, all you ever hear is we have an emergency. We have all of these plagues, these judgments, these problems. This is all you hear today, right? Nothing but problems every day. But, hashtag ain't no 400-year prophecy. Here's another article. A bloodthirsty bed bugs land in London as underground commuter warns it's so over. A clip showing a bed bug ambling across a commuter on the London Underground follows hot on the heels of panic created by infestation swarming through Paris. So we have bed bugs in London. Okay, so we got it in Paris, right? And now we have it in London. All right. So let's look at this right quick. All right, let's pull this up.
Well, this morning we are keeping tabs on two disturbing local cases of bed bugs. All right, just want to let you know, might give you the icks this morning. Thousands of them were just found in two infestations right here in the valley. Okay, so that's what you're going to see. Here's your warning. The pest company called in to deal with all of this. They shared these photos of the infestations with us. One of them in Sun City, where the bugs were found living under a king-size bed. We're told the Scottsdale infestation was even worse. There were bed bugs found in a pile an inch deep on the floor. Now, these pests, they could be really hard to spot if they're in your home. The CDC says the best way to prevent bed bugs is regular inspection.
So we have bed bugs in London, bed bugs in Paris, bed bugs, where else? Paris,
Well,
London, and Arizona.
What was that third one? Arizona.
Arizona.
Yeah, Sun City, Arizona.
So we have So what do you think of that? And we're going to talk more about this because according to the scriptures, right, there's this is a judgment, right? It's a plague. Now, some people don't believe it, right? They shoo it. We've always had bed bugs. Ain't nothing new, right? What do you think of that, Minister Terry?
Well, it's clearly judgment, just like with Pharaoh. These nations don't understand when they're falling under judgment. And, Israel has called them to repent. They refuse to repent. They see the world changing. They have no explanation, right? But they don't want to acknowledge the Most High. They want to call it climate change. I guarantee you these bed bugs infestation, they're going to link to climate change so they can implement their global change, something like that. But they'll never acknowledge that the Most High is judging them.
So with all of this that's happening, do you think this is biblical prophecy coming to pass?
After all of this is just one more thing added to the judgment of the Most High. Clearly, this is part of their judgment. Look, nothing's going to get better. It's just going to get worse. I mean, for the past few years, right, we had the CV incident, right? We had fires in various, all over the West Coast. This year, we had unprecedented heat globally. Even where we were, we almost ran out of water and, got overflowed with the salt water.
Oh, yeah, we're going to talk about that too.
Yeah, I mean, look, the judgment is clear. It's just continuing, right? Wars, rumors of wars, pestilence. I mean, that's what we're seeing.
But there's no fulfillment of your prophecy. I keep hearing people saying that. But anyway.
Hashtag.
So Exodus 8:21, if you do not let my people go, I will send swarms of flies on you and your officials, on your people, and into your houses. The houses of the Egyptians will be full of flies. Even the ground will be covered with them. All right. So the swarm, they just say swarms of flies, but it's really swarm, which is a robe, right? Probable meaning from a mixture, incessant, or involved motion. Now, if you look at other translations, all right, it says here for the Englishman's Concordance, for the NAS, I will send swarms of insects on you and on your servant. So KJV say flies. That's an interpretation or translation, transliteration. But I will send swarms of insects. Now, obviously bed bugs are swarms of insects, right? And they're in your house, they're in your beds, they're in your clothes, they're on your furniture, they're on the bus, they're in your cars, they're everywhere, right? What do you think of that, Mr. T?
I mean, it's a pestilence, right? I mean, Pharaoh got plagued with locusts. I mean, look, it's clear. We know biblically how the Most High moves against people when he's judging them, right? We're living in a time where nations are unrepentant. They don't want to obey the scriptures anymore. They come up with their own doctrine and belief system that's contrary to the Most High's commands. But then when they fall under judgment, clearly they're not going to see because they're not willing to see. So when the judgment escalates, it's going to be too late, and the ultimate judgment is going to be captivity, which is going to happen to these Western nations, right?
And you notice, like, you got these preterists out there who think all of this stuff happened already, but yet you have a whole bunch of biblical type events happening today.
Look, they're a joke because, I mean, if all this stuff happened today, then you might as well put the Bible down. It's not going to help you understand what's coming in the future, although no one says that the book of Revelation happened in the past, but you can't use the Old Testament. You can't use those scriptures to understand what your future is going to be. I mean, these guys are a joke. They have an agenda. And, like a lot of these guys are just religious. They claim to serve Yeshua, right? They act all righteous, right?
Again.
They act all righteous, right? But they don't love their fellow man. They don't, pull their brother aside in private and have a conversation. They label them heretics, right? Because that's just the attacking word. Let's attack a brother instead of have a conversation, right? Oh, we can't hang with y'all because y'all not Christians. Well, what is a Christian? Because you're not obeying the scriptures. You don't want to keep Easter. You don't want to keep Christmas and make excuses when you clearly the character of the Most High don't allow none of that. Who's in line with the will of the Most High? Those who keep Easter and Christmas and Halloween, which is coming up. Come on now. The Israelites are repenting and the rest of the world is not.
So the Most High said, you can't worship me like they worship their gods. They're like, yes, we can.
There you go.
The Most High
exactly what
says,
they say.
The Most High say, I didn't come to destroy the law. They say, yes, you did. I'm just saying it don't make no sense. Sound like a bunch of heathens. While the world is under judgment. Now, if the world was doing right, and there's so many people who claim to be Christians, but yet the world is in the worst state it has ever been, right? Whole bunch of alphabets and liars and cheaters and everything, right? But there's more Christians today than in the past. Now, how come the world is worse? Because
the
you
Christian,
in it. Huh?
Well, the Christians say the reason they haven't dealt with stuff, these new policies and these new rights for certain sexual lifestyles, the reason they haven't addressed it because they don't want the smoke. I'm like, no, you supposed to be built for the smoke. You're supposed to be in the middle of all this, fighting against these new policies and standing up for righteousness and family values. You're supposed to be doing that, right? But the whole Christian community is what? Silent. They won't address it because they're intimidated, and the iniquity is in the church as well. But yet they're the ones out there calling us heretics for wanting to obey the commandments of the Most High.
Yep. And somebody just said 2 billion Christians on the narrow path. Yup.
Yeah.
All of these judgments, right? They don't see it. They're not teaching anybody about it. If they are teaching about it, they're about to get raptured or they preterists, and it already happened. So we're gonna live under Babylon forever with all her anti-Elohim laws and statutes, right? I'm just saying it don't make no sense to me. But
notice this.
Yeah.
The Catholic Church don't get no smoke for all the evil they did, but the Israelites get smoke.
Oh yeah, Catholic Church Christians, and they got idols, obvious idols now.
Oh yeah,
let them slide. Well, that's the church. They're the church. Okay,
the church.
The church.
The concept of the church ain't in the Bible.
But again, when we go to the prophecies, we put all of these pictures together, right? All these little puzzles together that form the picture. And there's so many pieces that are now on the board, right? That I can't keep up with them. I really can't. I can't keep up with all the prophecies. This is why my opinion, right? We ain't got much time. I mean, it just looks that way. Now, I'd have to say, anything can happen. Anything can happen. I'm just saying what I see. It don't look like we have a lot of time. Well, that's relative though, right?
Yeah, but look, let's not forget. Brother Karras is a witness. We were going from new things happening month to month after 2019. Now, then we got to week after week after week a new event. Now it went from that to day after day to now. It's almost like hourly we hearing something new, right? That's threatening the whole planet. Hourly almost.
So let's look at something else that's supposedly threatening America, but it's also threatening the planet because this isn't happening just to America. It's happening to other European, Western nations.
Threatening these poor families to take away their park. That's not fair. They have football teams. They have the cheerleading teams.
Oh, no, this was supposed to start at the beginning.
Respectful to come into neighborhoods that have suffered decades of disinvestment, redlining, poverty, and violence, to tell them you're taking resources away only to give it to another group of people that you allowed to cross the border illegally. How dare you put these poor people against us, especially because the very reason you claim they're here to seek asylum is the same reason and terror and injustice Black people face today. Chicago is working on an issue without addressing the current issue that it has with the communities that are suffering. And we're seeing resources fly out to help, but we're not getting that same type of support at the magnitude we're seeing now. And to expect us to foot the bill and hand over our already limited resources, public parks and school buildings that have been unjustly closed in the first place. Now you're putting a strain on our police officers and stations, obstructing their ability to do their jobs, serve our community, and our community to go into police stations to receive services. In addition, it's inhumane to welcome people only to have them sleeping on floors in buildings and in tents that cannot withstand the wind of Chicago. Brandon Johnson ran on the promise that he would listen to our community. And in the beginning of this crisis, stated that he would not re-traumatize those communities that are still suffering from the impact of school closing, redline, and violence. We are here today demanding that the city of Chicago and Brandon Johnson stop disrupting park programs, taking away from our children and families that depend on those services. We want him to stop using public school buildings as housing because they're not zoned as such. And specifically for this building was promised to the community, and our children deserve a high school. A high school. We want to reopen this as one.
All right. So that's about the immigration issue right now. According to a lot of the statistics out there, right? A lot of the immigrants been coming in here. They're getting money. They're getting housing. They're getting free food. We're not getting that, right? Some of our people can't get any food for their homes, for their children. They don't have a place to live, so they're living as homeless people. But the immigrants just cross the border now. You get free money, free housing, right? You can open up a food stand without a license, but you can't, right?
Well, you know what that is, right?
Huh?
You know why, right?
Oh, I know why, but go ahead,
Yeah.
Mr. Tell you.
It's the replacement of the workforce, right? They always need a low income workforce, right? That works for near free, right? Quasi slavery, which our people usually fulfill, but our people doesn't want to work those kind of jobs anymore, so they are allowing this new workforce, and this is why they let them cross the border but won't give them citizenship, because with citizenship comes certain rights where you in a certain pay grade and all of that. They want that cheap labor, so they keep them illegal on purpose so that they can get that slave labor. So America doesn't function without cheap labor.
Well, here's the thing. I think that's partly the case, but I think the other case is that they're weaponized, right? And because it's not just the people from Mexico and from Ecuador and from Venezuela, right? And even the ones that's coming across now are young men. Same thing with the Chinese. There's thousands and thousands of Chinese young men, no wives, no babies, just young men. I'm telling you, you've been sold out, America. You done. Right? Let's listen to this right quick.
City and the video, and it's a black guy, and he's from another country, and he's holding out this card, and he said, "Yeah, the UN sent me over here. I'm a soldier for the UN, and they gave me this card, and it's got a computer chip in it, like a bank card, but it's got the guy's picture on it, information, number. He's a number, and he's telling them that he was told, he was given a phone, he was given this card, and he was told to go to a certain city and get a place to stay and wait. They would get in touch with him through the phone, I guess mass text message or something, and tell him where to go when they needed him to do something. But basically, he was free to come into the country and hang out. Now, listen, he's not just going to come live here. If he's a soldier for the UN, he's not going to come live here for 6 months and then pay him $2,200 a month. Okay? Whatever they're planning on doing it within, I would say, the next 90 days to 120 days. But he's gonna go get a place to live.
What do you think of that, Minister Taylor?
Well, he's getting paid to come here and do nothing until he's told to do something. So they're positioning their troops so that when they need them, they can assemble them really fast. I guess with the global turmoil, the threat of World War III everywhere, some incident's going to happen where they need United Nations support. I guess it would be harder to lock down this country if they had to assemble those guys, put them on ships, transport them over here, there would be, I guess it would take months to get enough troops over here to do any good. So they're pre-placing them apparently.
And think of this: it's not just America with an immigration problem. It's Italy, right? It's Ireland, right? It's all of these European countries, and a lot of them that had to do with our enslavement. Let's listen to this right quick.
So here's the thing. At first, when I saw all these single military-aged men arriving under the guise of being refugees, asylum seekers, welfare tourists, all sorts of different descriptions, but they all had one thing in common. There were no women and children. I'm thinking to myself, okay, these guys are, as we're being told by the government, are coming from a war-torn place. Why aren't they in their country fighting for their country? Why on earth would they leave in vast numbers to come to a different country where they don't speak the language, where their qualifications don't count for anything? And I got to thinking, well, let me just think about this. Everywhere I look at the moment, it's 300 military-aged men here, 300 military-aged men there, 600 military-aged men, and I'm like, hang on a minute. These are not refugees, these are soldiers. These are UN soldiers. And we're watching UN soldiers being brought in all over Europe, it's not just in Ireland. And these soldiers will be the people to tell you, get back in your house when the next bullshit excuse for a lockdown comes up. There's three options at the moment. One will be something crazy like alien invasion bullshit. Look up Operation Bluebeam. Second one is probably going to be another bullshit virus, because they're going to have to account for the amount of people dying. And another virus would be the perfect excuse.
Well, for me, I don't think it's going to be the virus. Personally, I think it's going to be World War III. And when you're talking about World War, you're talking about a world campaign, right? Which calls for world martial law. The excuse is going to be to lock you down in your neighborhoods and put up checkpoints, because you don't know. It could be a Chinese man, it could be a Russian, because all of these things are going to be happening in America and in Europe and all of these things. And they're going to have the excuse to lock you down to protect you, right? From the invasion that happened in Israel, right? Because they're going to say, just what happened in Israel could happen in the States. We're having chaos here. They're doing this, they're doing that. And you're going to see that this is what's subtly being hinted at. This is what's being hinted at. And so, like I was saying in the beginning, there's a lot of pieces to the puzzle being put together, and the image is almost here. And this is why I say I don't know how much time we got left, especially you Gentiles, right? I don't know how much time is left, but it don't seem like there's too much left. Minister Tate.
Yeah, the stage is being set clearly. There'll be some kind of false flag. It's going to be like what we saw recently in Israel. We're going to look at it and say, huh? That don't make sense. That couldn't have happened that way. Nobody was watching. No one was at the door when the enemy came in, right? All of a sudden, they're going to have UN troops everywhere. See, the thing is, the United Nations is supposed to represent, global security and cooperation. So it's important that when this stuff goes down, they look like the liberators or the protectors. So, yeah, clearly something is being prepared here.
So here's the thing. This is the perfect opportunity for such a thing as this. This is the plan: send all the troops overseas with the National Guard and then try to take over America with immigrants. So we got all these troops being prepared to go overseas to the Middle East. Many of them have gone over to Ukraine. You're not going to have any protection in America. All your people going to be gone. While you have a bunch of Chinese hanging around as immigrants, along with all of the other people. You've been set up for the okie doke. I told y'all. Y'all don't want to listen. We ain't nothing but a bunch of Negroes who don't know nothing. That's all I know. I know you ain't got to believe me. I told y'all that. Sit back, eat the popcorn. Let me show this other video. I'm going to get your comment, Minister Tate. All right.
What's happening right now, but FBI says that there is a credible threat of possible retaliation coming from this is coming from Homeland Security, Department of Homeland Security, that there could be an attack on U.S. soil. And why is this significant? Because of the fact of all the people that have crossed our border have not been vetted. We don't know who they are. We don't know where they came from. We don't know. So if they caught 42 individuals, they caught 42, what got through? What got into our country? It's what we have to ask.
So, what do you think, Minister Tate? You sound like a setup to me.
Well, I would say Israel, protect your family, but don't get involved in what's coming. Just like every major war, those who avoid the war get to enjoy the after effects, right? So, you know, a lot like Ukraine, all those 600,000 people deleted fighting this war when they stood no chance. And then the ones who escape, they'll get to enjoy the new Ukraine at some point. And it's not our fight anyway. And according to the scriptures, we're going home. So the goal is to what? Survive the sword.
Yep, survive the sword. I like that one. That sounds like a shirt to me.
Yeah.
Giftgivingforall.com. Now, there's no music to this, so just read it. All right, I'm going to pause it so y'all can read it. I'll read it. Phone call I just got from someone who works with a diplomat. Frightened me, and not many things frighten me. I would not be in a big city for the next 12 months. Hamas has terror cells in the U.S. They came in via a porous southern border. The people in power know this, and they also know there will be attacks targeting our major cities. The president and his handlers are responsible for what is set to happen. This is what this guy said. I ain't say it. You can believe it or not. It doesn't matter to me. But for what I was told, there are some nations are quietly removing their diplomats from big cities in the U.S. and Europe because they know what's to happen. So I've heard that too, that there's a bunch of people being CEOs and everything that's leaving the West, right? Because of what's coming. What do you think of that, Mr. T?
Well, I don't know about some of y'all companies, but I know mine, we're what do you call it? Tightening our belt and have minimized the amount of money being spent and people resources. So they're buckling down for something, right? They're not spending like they anticipate economic growth. So
the Western world this Friday expect protests, some turning into riots all over the Western world. Yes, it's just been announced on a Telegram group from Hamas, talking about what's been happening with Gaza and Israel. Very, very hot potato at the moment. And it's not about sides. I don't choose any sides. I'm just me, and I don't side with anyone. Don't forget, the most fundamental lesson to learn by all of this is divide and conquer. Already, we are seeing people who are pro-Israel and pro-Palestine. It's exactly what they want. So try to rise above it. Don't get pulled into it.
I'm
Don't
with the
fall
Most
for it.
High. I ain't on
Just
nobody's side.
observe and learn, because at the end of the day, we are talking about this Friday. Yes, this Friday coming could be a potential freaking nightmare across the entire Western world.
All right, so something on Friday the 13th. I don't know if anything gonna happen. I'm just saying it sure look like the pieces are in place. I know, like me, when I play my brother chess, he set up his pawns, I set up my pawns, I set up my pieces, he set up his pieces. I see him setting up for the trap. You know what I'm saying? I'm watching it, he watching me. It's like, okay, you think you sneaky, but I see it, right? I'm like, that's what it looks like to me. It looked like all the pieces are being put into place. You got some pawns over here in America, some pawns over here in Europe. You got some pawns over in the Middle East. I'm just saying, it looks like they're trying to set up the checkmate. What you think, Minister Tate?
Well, I say, like, in regards to the Palestinians, they're under an apartheid system, or can we call it neocolonial system as well? So they know what it's like to be under the thumb of the Western powers. And let's not get it twisted. They're being ruled by Europeans, right? Their nation, their land is being controlled by Europeans. And yeah, they took that land through invasion, through the Ottoman Empire, but they've had it longer than the current people. So yeah, clearly the world is being put in a state of unease globally, and so they're preparing us for something, right?
Well, fear. You're teaching fear, Minister, tell you.
Fear doctrine. That's right. I mean,
So,
it's either that or peace and love, brother.
yeah, peace and love. I love you, man. I love you, Minister, tell you. I love everybody. Again.
The Most High is not going to judge us. That's what Israel said too. We ended up scattered globally, worldwide for 400 years. We didn't believe the Most High was going to judge us. Remember when our ancestors said, the temple is here. He's not going to touch this place.
Yeah.
That's what the Christians are saying. He's not going to touch us because we're Christians. But yet we can look at your resume and you got it coming.
So the Gerald Ford, the biggest aircraft carrier the U.S. has going into the Middle East, they're sending another ship out there as well. Now, the question is this, okay? I understand there's a little fighting going on right now. You know what I'm saying? It hasn't really sparked to the next level yet. But do you have to send all of that there? So you got all of these American troops and NATO and National Guard already over in Ukraine. Now you have some aircraft carriers that's going over into the Middle East, right? I'm just saying, look like chess pieces being put into place. What do you think, Minister T?
It takes a while to move your chess pieces across the globe, right? It takes a while, and that's what we're seeing. We create an incident so no one understands what's really going on. So that's our excuse to reposition our pieces for the chess battle, right? That's what's happening. The stage is being set, the players are on stage, and the director is about to call action.
Israeli Major General, we are falling into an Iranian trap in Gaza. The U.S. is also mobilizing the 26th Marine Expeditionary Unit with 2 ships. The U.S., in addition to the 2 aircraft carriers, U.S. Dwight D. Eisenhower and USS Gerald Ford, which will be together in the Mediterranean Sea off the coast of Israel, is also mobilizing the 26th Marine Expeditionary Unit with amphibious assault ships. These are USS Bataan, LHD-5, and USS Carter Hall, LSD-50, with approximately 3,000 Marines. The unit was recently ordered to stop the exercise in Kuwait and head to the Arabian Sea to prepare for further operations as a result of emerging events. Israeli Major General is sounding the alarm as he talks of an Iranian trap being set for the Israeli army once the IDF ground operation in Gaza begins. If Israeli forces start a ground operation in the Gaza Strip, it will mean that the country will fall into the Iranian trap and start acting according to the Iranian plan. This assessment of the unfolding events was given by the former commander of the IDF Air Force, Major General David Ivory. According to the military expert, Hamas attacks will force the Israeli Defense Force to respond with a ground invasion of Gaza. But when Israeli troops bog down in a ground operation, Israel will be attacked from Lebanon and the West Bank. This will lead to more serious consequences. Ivory believes that the Gaza Strip is not a significant threat to Israel at present. Palestinian forces operating there can be suppressed by airstrikes and through economic pressure. But if the Israeli ground forces enter Gaza and stuck there for a long time, having suffered heavy losses, then a real threat to the country will be created on a completely different level. The only viable option for a ground operation is the outright occupation of the Gaza Strip, but this will lead to a large number of casualties among the IDF troops. Moreover, it is unclear how long it will take Israel to occupy this territory and what funds will be required for this. Apparently, not all Israeli military experts support the prospect of a ground military operation in Gaza Strip, fearing a greater escalation of the conflict and the involvement of other participants. So, when we look at this, like we were saying, it looks like chess pieces are being put in place, right? And what we have here is the preparation for World War III. I mean, technically, we already in it, right? Technically, we already in it, but now all the other pieces are being put in place. Now, as I read in other shows, Second Ezra 15, right? We saw that the Caramanians were involved in that, right? Iranians. We saw that Arabia was involved in that. Now, notice that these two people, right, we know for a fact are where in what we call the Middle East. So therefore, Second Ezra 15 has to do with these people in the Middle East because that's who they were referencing. So apparently something, according to Second Ezra 15, is happening. So we also have other things happening, and I if you want to say something, Minister to you, let me know. Because I got two more things I'm going to show, and it's about the same topic. All right. So Jordan moving tanks and troops to Israel border, right? So video below shows the country of Jordan is right now moving heavy armor and troops to its border with Israel. Earlier today, at the request of Israel, Jordan closed its border crossings in and out of Israel. Now the video, okay, that's just for subscribers. So Jordan moving tanks, right? Iran convoys moving long-range missiles to launch points. Video has emerged from inside Iran showing large military convoys of trucks carrying long-range missiles being moved to launch points. Now, what we do know is that all of the pieces are being set up, right? If you play chess, you know what I'm talking about. Especially you military guys, you know what I'm talking about. Things are being set up. What do you think, Mr. T?
Yeah, the pieces are being placed, but I want you to understand the goal of the United Nations. The goal of the United Nations is to get every nation to surrender their sovereignty. And so if they surrender their sovereignty, then the elite can have that new world order, Star Trek global empire that they really want, because what was once yours, the resources under your feet, will now be theirs. So this is why, NATO's giving Russia so much trouble, because Russia doesn't want to surrender their resources, their traditions, and their people to a global empire. And that's what we're seeing with the Africans as well. Our people over there are like, we haven't had control of our land and resources, so we want a shot at it as well. So, it's this motivation of those who resist the United Nations global empire, the desire for self-determination and self-guidance and prosperity on their end, right? It's that desire that's going to cause that has caused this conflict, to where the elite have to create this disturbance globally, because after the disturbance, Their plan is for you to surrender your sovereignty and get on that universal basic income, right? You're going to be so upset. You're going to say, hey, just bring peace back. We'll let you control the planet. We're going to let your military, control our policies and enforce your laws on our land. And you'll be following the United Nations plan going forward. That's the goal. That's not the Most High's goal. They're going to see that it's going to fail, but that's what they're trying to achieve today.
So we have the bed bugs, we have the immigrant invasion, right? We have the allocation of troops into the Middle East and Europe, right? So we also have the awakening of the Israelites. We have the African leaders telling the world, we're not putting up with your crap anymore. We're going to keep our resources. We want finished goods. We're going to add value to our items. Y'all going to be paying top price for all our stuff. I'm just saying, it's like everything you would expect is coming to pass. Now, give me a one if you remember that I did a teaching that says you're going to have to flee and that they're going to push you out. If you don't remember that, give me a 2. Because everything is being planned. Everything is set up the way I would expect it to be. I'm like, what more do you want? The only thing that's outstanding right now is our exodus to me, right? And a couple of, let me phrase this correctly. Big plumes of smoke in the sky. You know what I'm saying, Mr. Tell you? The only outstanding thing is some big plumes in the sky.
Yeah, that's the grand finale.
So let's look at this, because guess what? I told you they're going to push us out. They're going to push you out. You want to stay. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to stay here in Babylon because I loves me some Babylon. I loves my electricity. I loves my food. I love the highways. I'm staying in Babylon. You ain't get me out of here. I'm going to let Babylon's skirt fall all around her ankles before I get out of here. I'm just saying.
Let me know what you are thinking in the comment section. So let's get into this.
Heard this but only certain people Fox. Get criminal mulligans. And January 6 protesters, they don't get criminal mulligans. And here's why. They're the oppressor, right? So the oppressed get criminal mulligans. The people that are complaining, like us, we're actually oppressors and we're losing power. So that's why we're upset. I just got a job at MSNBC. But let's compare the rights between criminals and victims. Okay, the criminals, they get a mulligan. They get to steal up to $900 worth of stuff. They can loiter, sleep, and shoot up in public areas, including playgrounds. They can loot and burn and call it social justice. They can pile up dozens of arrests and never do time. Meanwhile, what about us? Well, we have to change our lives to accommodate risk wherever we go. We have to move out of cities for the sake of the safety of our families and our own safety. That's what's happening. We're being driven out of cities by the oppressed. So I return to my imperfect analogy from yesterday. We had a war over slavery. We knew slavery was inhumane and immoral, but somehow we couldn't solve slavery peacefully. It was an evil, but one side refused to acknowledge that it was evil because it was too big of an admission for them to make. Doesn't that feel that way now, that this defiant refusal to reverse this decline argues against the survival of a country? What does that leave you with? It leaves you with, you need to make war to bring peace, because you have a side that cannot change, because then that means an admission that their beliefs have been corrupt all the time. So in a way, you have to force them to surrender.
Or we could make love, not war.
I tried that once.
Or we have an election.
I had to go to a doctor.
Right. Elections, yeah.
No, elections don't work. We know that. We know they don't work.
They do work.
Look what we have. Look what we have.
But
we had a moderate president, and we have crime exploding everywhere. We had a Democrat president promise that he was going to be moderate, promise that he was going to unite the country. And now we have a terrible education system. We have no border. We have crime everywhere. Every facet of society is in peril and in chaos because our elections don't matter.
No, elections do matter. We don't need to go to war for it. We go to the election booth and vote the people out who don't do the things.
So let's just unpack what this guy, Greg Gutfeld, is saying. We need war to have peace. We need civil war because the only way there will be peace in the country is if the right overcomes the left and causes them to heal using violence and force. So once violence and force is used to force the left to take the knee, then we can have peace. Well, how would you have peace? I guess that would mean you'd have to occupy all Democratic cities and all Democratic states, Democratic leaning states, to ensure that we have the peace of the right getting to have their way.
Now, she said occupy the Democratic cities, right? Now, you know, it's not occupying the Democratic cities. It's going to be occupying your land, right? It's going to be taking your house. It's going to be kicking you out of your land. If you got a farm, they're going to kick you off your farm, especially if you're in a right-wing state. They're going to get rid of you Negroes, right? That's why he was talking about black folks under code, right? He was talking about black folks. We know contextually wise, he was talking about black folks, right? And he wants to go to war because they can't get their way anymore because the world is changing and they don't know that they're under judgment. We told them the curses was going to fall on y'all, but y'all don't listen. Why? Because y'all been in control for like the last 400 and plus years. And so y'all don't think Negroes know anything. Y'all definitely don't believe we the children of the Most High. What do you think about this person, Minister Tate?
Well, Minister Yacoba, ain't no judgment coming my way because I didn't do it. My ancestors did it. What I got to do with it? Why God gonna judge me?
I'm going to tell you why, because it says right here in Isaiah 14:21, prepare slaughter for his children for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise nor possess the land nor fill the face of the world with cities. That's why you're under judgment. That's why you're going to go into captivity. But hey, we just haters. That's all.
But here's the catch. You're a beneficiary. You want to avoid that judgment? Don't be a beneficiary. But you are a beneficiary. You've accepted all that came with this, including the judgment. You've enjoyed the perks, but now you're going to enjoy the hard stuff.
Well, they don't think there's going to be any hard stuff because you know what? All things remain the same since the fathers fell asleep, right, Minister? Tell you ain't nothing happening. Ain't nothing happening, Minister. Tell you.
That's what I keep hearing, but I'm seeing something else. But I keep hearing.
Tell me about it.
All things remain the same. What? I'm seeing a lot of things happening here.
All right. So you know, we got the bed bugs, we got the immigration problems, we got the World War III military movements all over the globe, but hashtag ain't no 400-year prophecy. What else do we have to tell you? And this is gonna be my final article and scripture. And we're gonna put the link out there for a few of y'all if y'all want to come on and talk. Now, this is my hometown, y'all. Why the saltwater wedge climbing up the Mississippi River is a wake-up call to the region. New Orleans. A saltwater intrusion from the Gulf of Mexico predicted to reach Metro New Orleans by the middle of this month has slowed, a relief to emergency officials and communities who were bracing for the worst. The massive saltwater wedge moving up the Mississippi River, the area's main source of drinking water, threatened to expose close to 1 million residents in 4 parishes to dangerous levels of salt water. Now the saltwater wedge has slowed considerably. As of last week, it hasn't moved for 10 days and remains at a standstill 20 miles south of the city. New predictions announced by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers last week suggest it likely won't reach enough upriver to threaten the drinking supply for most of New Orleans and Jefferson Parish. Yeah, assuming there's more rain and water pumped in there. Otherwise, it's going to come over. This updated projection is clearly a relief to all of us, said Colin Arnold, director of the New Orleans Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness. But our job in emergency management is to help prepare for the worst. Yeah, because it's not over. See, they want you to think everything fine, but it's not over. That's why they got to prepare for the worst. I think we all believe that we will face this again at some point. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers announced the updated projections of the creeping saltwater wedge on October 5th, right? That video ain't really worth watching, so I'm not going to show it. Historic low river levels for the second year in a row have left the Mississippi River susceptible to water flowing up from the Gulf of Mexico. Y'all can read the rest of it. I'm not going to read the rest of it, but here's my final scripture on all of this, right? Now, this is Jeremiah 50:38. A drought is upon her waters, and they shall be dried up. For it is the land of graven images, and they are mad upon their idols. I'm just saying, I ain't got to say nothing else. I'm like, this is just a small smidgen of the prophecies that's coming to pass, that's happening right before your eyes, and half of y'all still asleep. Minister, tell you, any comment?
Well, we're talking about the great Mississippi River, right? I mean, most of my life has just been overflowing with fresh water. Not a problem. And then we had this unprecedented heat in the summer. I literally would step outside. 2 seconds later, I'm going back inside. Why? Because I felt like I was inside of an oven. Inside of an oven. I'm like, this was not just hot, it was baking. Right? So clearly it makes sense that the Mississippi River dried up. But that people can't recognize when judgment is at their door, right? No one's repenting, though.
It's climate change.
It's climate change. Keep calling it that when that judgment hit. When you go into captivity, say it's climate change. I would recommend you repent and pray that you can leave with Israel.
That's for real. All right, so I'm putting this link out there if y'all want to come on. We're not going to be all night. Get a few of y'all, see what y'all think about these prophecies, you know. I mean, what do y'all think of all this stuff? I'm like, I don't even know what to say anymore. I mean, I can't even keep up with it. I'm serious. There's just too many happening. And, you know, we called it years and years ago, before this so-called dangerous time of climate issues, let's put it that way, right? All of these things that started happening after 2019.
Yeah, and this hourly pace now of new events, new disasters. You know, I mean, it's like you're in a movie. Okay, what's the next scene?
Yeah, exactly. What's the next
director
scene?
must have edited this out because we went from this event to that event, you know, and there was no pause. So
exactly. What's next, Brother Richard?
Yeah, how you doing, Teo? I love you, family. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you sound good.
Today, a friend of mine came. He does events for the city of Chicago, a lot of things. He has a lot of equipment. It's a lot of brothers. We all about the same age. We use resources to do things. He needed like $4,000. So the family, you know, loaned it to him. He's buying a truck, an education. It's got seats in it. The governor of the state of Illinois is going to pay him to train immigrants in various things, all these folders of programs. He says, so we helped him get this thing. They are loading the money. He's supposed to meet with the governor today. They are loading this money down for these things. We cannot stop these people from coming. Exit. I told him to go do that. I moved some money today for some things for our people, various things that the Lord would have me, you know, open up funds to replenish my people. I'm just saying, this thing is coming. We better start making moves and get ready. But it's a good thing. I mean, this judgment is not for us. It is not for us. And we'll just walk around. It's going to happen all around us, but it's not going to come nigh our dwelling. We're going to have the blood on the scourge is not coming near our dwellings. We just have to put the blood of the Savior on our doorposts and obey his laws, statutes, and commandments as best we can. And God going to take all his baby kids out there, even the coons, everybody's going out there. They just going to get purged out.
Not the raccoons. Can they stay?
No, it's his name. It ain't about them.
I know. I'll just tease.
It's about his name.
You're right. You're right.
He gonna take everybody now. He gonna deal with them. It's just like when you were bad out in the neighborhood or something like that. Your mama didn't leave you there. She dragged you home.
That's true.
She dealt with your behind. You know,
Yep.
So they gonna get dealt with. So just pray for me. I'm trying to make moves to secure my online family, my QTUA family, and things are ready. This thing is turning fast. So just for guidance, because I'm making moves. This is real.
I'm gonna tell y'all may not know it, but a lot of Israelites are jetting. Y'all keep playing. They out. I'm telling you. I know. Brother Jesse.
What's up, my brothers? Peace and blessings, brother Yakoba and Teo and the rest. Man, you guys are on point, man. I mean, what can I say? I mean, you see what's going on over in the place. And you know what's very interesting is the media right now. The stuff that's being said in the media. I'm talking about, what's going on with the ish people in the Middle East. What they're talking about the casualties. But one thing you're not hearing is the other people. I mean, I'm not taking no sides either way, but it's just one-sided. And then there's another factor of 300,000 troops. 300,000 troops. That place is only 140 miles long. So and the things that are happening, there's protests all over New York City, man. Like everywhere. My boy hit me up from LA. He was like, Jokers was like almost like partying in the streets, or I'm talking about the people. They was passing out flags with that Star of Rothschild on there. It's just some weird stuff. I mean, people are in like those ish people are in uprage, and then they're talking about what happened to them in the 1940s. It's just craziness, man. But then when you go back and you read the Balfour Declaration of 1917, that explains everything. I'm a park it right there.
All right. Thank you, Brother Jesse. Brother Cares.
Hey, shalom, everyone. I'm just gonna say my piece and bounce. But I'm not gonna lie to you. When you played them the bed bugs, I started itching. You
Yeah, me
I'm,
too.
I was feeling some kind of way. I was like, ugh.
you know what I'm saying? Look, I made sure I sprayed when I came back from Africa twice. It wasn't Africa, but when I came through Europe, I wanted to make sure that all my baggage, I sprayed that thing. I used 2 cans of Lysol just to make sure that my baggage was right before I put it in the crib. No, but you know what's interesting about this is that no one's really calling for a peace or a form or a referendum or anything like that. Have you noticed that? Now all of a sudden it's just pedal to the metal. And so, not to mention, they're also calling for a global day of, gee, I wish I had. In my very cryptic brother Rojo.
There you go,
Acronyms,
captivity.
analogies, acronyms. So everybody get their candy bars full with extra Skittles. Shout out to brother Rojo. But it really is interesting because it's like all of a sudden everybody loves peace to now, man, forget peace, we're all going to war, everybody's getting it. Like, you get what I'm saying? How did that it all happen within a week?
Can't keep up with it, Brother Care.
Well, that is interesting that no one's calling for peace.
No.
It's like they're gonna make this war happen.
Yeah, they said no. We in here. We in here. And let me just tell you this. People need to start brushing up on Red Dawn with Patrick Swayze.
Wow.
Delta Force with Chuck Norris. Okay, that's the study material. Because oh my goodness, like you realize you're trying to fight an enemy that's digging in. Tunnel warfare, urban tunnel warfare. Like, I don't know if y'all ever seen Resident Evil. You don't go down in the sewers. You know what I'm saying?
Wag
You
the
just
dog.
don't. You don't go out in the ditches. But that's what's happening. And I look at that carrier strike group and I'm like, that Russia has a Mediterranean port through Syria. Nobody's even talking about that. Like, are you kidding? On top of that, Iran has already said that they have the capability of launching weapons, missiles that can reach over into the Mediterranean Ocean.
But Brother Karras, they say the 400-year prophecy failed.
Anti-ship missiles.
Not just anti-ship missiles. Think about they call it aquatic drones. And they've been used in the Middle East. They've been used to blow up a couple ships in the Strait of Hormuz. Oh, they're going to get it all there. Everything's coming out. These Hamas folks are looking at it like warriors come out to play. Yay. Look, this thing it'll be a very big blemish that the West would not recover from, to see the loss of a carrier strike group. That is the extended power of naval forces. And on top of that, you have the potential of Kinzhals coming from out of Russia. You see what I'm saying? This is... I don't even want to... Listen, all I know is get your bags packed. Support Christian United Africa. Get your bags packed.
Open the door. 3 for Jacob was coming for more. Remember that, Karen?
Yeah. I tried to summon you. I tried.
I got here a little late, bro. I got here a little late.
I was in the bathroom and everything. I turned on the mirror. Jacoba.
You needed that Freddy icon.
Oh my good. Yeah, the jacket and everything. Oh my goodness. Yeah, but you want to know what though? Is it going down? Everybody's coming to the floor. Make some noise. Going to war. Look. The street dance battles here.
What you mean we, white man? What you mean we? I don't know about that.
Say, Karen, you know, Jacoba was good at breakdancing, huh?
Yeah, I know
he used to do all that.
Robot. The robot in the popping lot. That's how I was gonna try and get him on in there. I had a nice clip, that Beat Street clip, waiting on him.
Oh, he could do the windmill too.
Straight into a windmill.
I want to see y'all that Wonder Twins power.
Activate.
Well, yeah, that's all I have, family. So with that, shalom, and y'all have a blessed night.
All right, Brother Karras. Brother Mike, they say the 400-year failed, Brother Mike. What you think?
Boy, I tell you, I just hate to be in their shoes, believing that. The 400 years, it has not failed. Alive and kicking, and life is showing you this is it. This is that moment. Here we are, brothers. I mean, if you go back 20 years from now, if you would have told me it would be like this now, Jacoba, I would have called you a lie. I would have called you a lie. To wake up and find out who you really are, and then seeing all religion saying the same thing. This is what they say. These black Hebrew Israelites are on the rise. And one guy on YouTube, he said, hey, if you go talk to them, you better know your scriptures. And he said they know their scriptures. You know how they link us all together and everything like that.
Yeah,
but
they do.
Yeah. And so we're seeing some Ooh, man. I mean, it's hard to put them in. I'm gonna just say it like this. Jacob, a couple of months ago, you did a show, and it was about the affirmative action. That was a couple of months ago. And I said, man, this ain't nothing but a warning shot. That's all it was. It was a warning shot. And now from that, it was earlier, but you know, earlier this month, earlier this year. But now you look at it now as to what's going on. That right there don't mean a hill of beans to what's going on now. They're geeked up. They're geeking themselves up as if this is a first world war. Just like they did the First World War. They were so geeked up. They were so happy to go to war. They were so happy. And all these movies portraying the West victorious and all this stuff is ingrained in their heads. What's ingrained in our heads is scripture.
Yep.
That's the difference between us and them. And I'm gonna say this, Jacoba, on that bed bug thing. Good night. Yeah, you're right, man. When they showed that stuff, man, it had me scratching and everything, man. But me and my son, when he was small, man, we lived in this like 20 like a 22-story building. And man, I did not know what was going on. And it was bed bugs. Man, I lift my son up, bruh. Man, I got so pissed. And just to see those bugs, and I'm like, Dad, what is this? And I hit one and it got blood. Man, I tore my house up. I threw the beds out that night. I threw everything out that night. And then my mother told me, hey, no, take this here and spray everything. I sprayed the floor, the bed, the edge of the walls. Man, I did not have that problem no more. I mean, since then I have moved. But every time I move, I come in, I spray the floors, the wood floors, the baseboards. I never had an issue with bedbug. And just last week, the exterminator and the landlord came back. Hey, we have an infestation of bedbug. I'm like, where? Not in here. And the man, he came and said, we got the people below you. They have bed bugs, but you don't have none in here. Man, I put that stuff on my floor. And it's a furniture polish at that. That's all it is. I go to Home Depot, put in the spray bottle, spray everything down, including the mattress. And it
where
works.
do you live, Brother Mike?
It's a plague of
It's
insects on the way.
old English wood conditioner. It's a yellow liquid that Home Depot sells, and I go and not buy it.
Which
I
state
mean,
do you live in?
I'm in Illinois. See, they mentioned it.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I kid you not. That's what I use, and I haven't had it, man. When they start knocking on the pipes, when they're working on the water pipes in there, I start spraying again because I don't want them. Because soon you start knocking pipes, that's when, and they said this building here is infested. I have not had an issue with bed bugs. And I got 2-bedroom. We have not had it. I ain't seen none on the wall or nothing of that nature. So I mean, that's what I do. I go ahead and get that stuff, bro, and spray everything down, and I keep it moving. But this here, and that's information for anybody that want to go and check it out and things. But it's just like what you said, brother. We almost out of here, and I'm serious about this. 2024, I think that's going to be a year for us. Seriously.
Yeah, I think
we out of here, man.
The way it's looking.
Yeah. And I hand it back to you, brother.
All right, thank you, Brother Mike. See to Judah.
Hey, shalom, brothers. How y'all doing?
All right, how you been?
Doing good. So I last time I was on, I asked your perspective on some things. I want to get your perspective on according to Bible, it talks about how the Medo-Persians, which is Iran, correct, is supposed to be the ones to get us out during the Exodus or whatever you call it. What's your take on that? Like, do you see that happening with everything going on with Israel and whatnot?
I mean, from my understanding, from from Jeremiah 50:51, it's going to be the land of the north that's coming with her allies. So it's going to, from the way I see things, it's going to be Russia and their allies who are going to be the ones to attack Babylon, and we're going to flee. Right. So when all that's happening over here, we're going to flee. Now, in my opinion, the way things occurred in Ukraine, where Russia opened up that exit for them to leave before they hit, it probably would have to be something like that. They're going to make way for us. And I expect the African nations to give us shelter because, they see us as their people. And they already calling for us to return. So I can see them saying, they can come here. Now, some of our people, I won't be surprised they try to travel to Europe or something, but most of us going to head on to the continent.
Well, I would hope not, because the way it's looking, Europe's gonna get destroyed as well. So there ain't gonna be no Europe to go to. Also, I guess with all the distractions going on, I mean, I'm looking at it as it's just the United States is leaving their back door wide open.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like at any moment with like the immigrants so-called coming in and all that, it's just at any point in time. And I definitely feel it like the brother Michael just said, sometime this year or definitely beginning of next year, it's finna just blow wide open. And they don't see it coming at all,
Well, I think just as they allowed it to happen in Israel, they're allowing it to happen here. And the common people are going to be caught unawares, but the elite know what's happening.
Right. Last thing, so let's see. All right. What to say? Man, it just slipped me. I had one more thing to ask you. And I can't remember now. My bad. Somebody else want to go. I might can think of it real quick, and I'll let you know.
All right, we'll come back to you. All right, Brother Don.
Hey. Shalom, brother.
What's up, Brother Don? How's it going? What's your thoughts on this?
Oh man, my thing is, I don't think it's going to be any place that's really safe or excluded. But I sure know that Babylon ain't. It's done. It's done, and it's just like they have set this thing up over time, where it's just going to pop up on people. They're not going to be expecting, because I've been, watching these various different events over the past few months, and I'm like, oh, that's not good. That's not good. And so I see it just coming from the inside. I see the whole thing coming from the inside, and they're not going to need to bring folks over because they're already here. And I'll just land there.
Yeah, definitely. People are already here. So we're gonna get final comments, and we're gonna start with you, Brother Jesse.
Well, I agree with everyone. I believe that it's close to time for us to get out of here, and also believe that America, aka Babylon, will be destroyed personally by the Most High Himself, according to the Book of Revelations. So, in that regard, we have to get out of here before that happens. And I'm hoping and praying that we all could get out of here. And I'm going to land right there, fellas.
All right. Thank you for coming on, Brother Jesse. Brother Richard.
Yeah, Brother Yakoba. I'm just all this. It's a stream of information. It's coming so fast, and it's lined up with prophecy. I look at the Council on Foreign Relations. So they've been undermining this country for years. They didn't want this country. So you got people coming into the country. What I see is happening. It reminds me. It's kind of like the Kennedy assassination. It's not, was there a conspiracy? Who didn't have a end for him? Who didn't want to kill him? We got the king of the north. We got the four carpenters. We got the most high through natural means. Everything is coming against this thing. The only thing we do know is that the word says that nobody's going to be able to stay here. This place is toast. And the most high, he promised he's going to get us out of here. Now, about them other folks, I don't know. But we're out of here. It says the husbandman is going to return to his own country. So we got to have a place to return to. So we're going to be looking for Zion. So we're out of here. When? I don't know. But pack your bags. Hey, be ready to roll. And that's it for me.
All right. Thank you, Brother Richard. Brother Mike.
Brother, you showed a video, and they was talking about all these like dignitaries leaving, and you know me, I mean, I live like right north of Chicago, right north of downtown. So I usually drive through Lakeshore Drive just to get up to my place. But I noticed though, downtown is not full of the Gentiles like it used to be. When I say it was full, it was full. It's naked downtown. And so now when they said that this, you know, it seemed like there's some type of attack that will happen. All right. I'm like, all right, let me change my get up. Let me change because it's nothing but bridges when you're dealing with Lakeshore Drive. And man, I don't want to be over there and, you know, be on top of a bridge sitting in my truck and you know, something go off. And so, I mean, I got to use common sense. Let me just change up my way of getting back home. But I would say this to the brothers and sisters: keep your neck on a swivel. Watch your surroundings. These people, brother, somebody sent me a video talking about the Israeli found like 40 babies, Israeli babies with their head cut off. Now I'm just thinking when I seen that, I'm like, that sounds like somebody's trying to build a case.
Yeah, I don't believe that on the same like what they say with the incubators, and then they were found that was a lie. Yeah, I think is I don't believe it, but we'll see as time passes.
And so I mean that's the thing. I mean, but most importantly, Israel, keep your eyes open. Stay on the watch. Something is about to pop off a whole lot worse. And I just rather for us to be on the watch and on guard. And I hand it back to you, brother.
All right. Thank you, Brother Mike. Brother Don, final comment.
Yeah. You know, like Brother Mike was saying, folks talk about getting your bags packed. Man, I'm talking about getting this container packed and getting up out of here because they've set this thing up so that all they have to do is flip the switch, and so many of our people are going to be caught off guard. I think they've set up a lot of stuff so that the everyday laws here can kind of be suspended, and it's just going to be chaos and pandemonium, and I don't want no parts of it. So I'm going to try to be obedient to what the Most High has said and keep it pushing, and I'll land it there.
All right. Thank you, Brother Don. Minister Tell what's your final thoughts on this stuff?
Yeah. Well, I would say the mobilization of resources takes time. To have a world war takes time, right? And that's what we've been seeing. And I think the stage is finally prepared for the play, right? Act 1, Scene 2, let's say. All right. So, you know, these past few months, we've been seeing the mobilization of resources and equipment and people to have this final stage. A lot of it is to really change your values, to change your idea of sovereignty, because when it's all over, they want you to want a United Nations. They want you to want world peace, and you're in their mind, you don't get world peace without global control, right? 15-minute cities, you'll agree to it after the war. Why? Because everything else was sort of destroyed. So you're gonna agree with 15-minute cities just to try to get back to a semblance of normality. But understand, for Israel, this nation wasn't built for you, and that United Nations world government that they plan on finalizing is not built for you. That's why the Most High going to send us home so we can go home and worship Him. That's it.
All right. So I want to thank everybody who was on the panel, who came on, and also want to thank all of the family out there who support this ministry. And if you want to support this ministry, you can become a patron. Also, you can become a Cash App giver. And also, what you can do is you can go to Gift Giving for All, right? Get your mug, get your hoodies and your shirts and stuff like that. Because when we leave, I'm wearing mine. So I'm going to wear my tail shirt. So, if you got yours, wear yours when we leave. I don't know how much time we got left. I just don't see how it's going to last. I don't see how we can last. As Brother Karras and Mr. Taylor was saying, they're not talking peace. They're talking war because that's what they want. And all of the chess pieces are being put in place. And, you have your, what was that 1970s and 80s game? What was that game? Battle, what? What was that little game?
Battleship.
Battleship, that's it. They playing Battleship and they moving their pieces into place. And they're not moving those big old carriers out there because of this issue with Hamas. They're moving it out there because they expect everything to pop off globally. And as I said, when it comes to 2nd Ezra 15, it's a world war. And it's a war in that territory because the nations that the scriptures were referencing was Iran, Caramanians, and of course Arabia. Now, then you got all the other people who are going to be involved because it specifically talks about a world war. I don't know about you. I believe the scriptures. I believe every jot and tittle. I know a lot of them Christians don't, even though they say they do. What Christians believe is their doctrine. That's what they believe. They don't believe the scriptures because you can show them, what the Bible says this. They don't care what the Bible say. They only care about Christian doctrine. They don't care what the scripture says. And so that's why a lot of them are going to be caught unawares, right? Just like them people when the Hamas came over and then their paragliders and all this stuff and landing and they partying and didn't know till the day that Noah, entered the ark. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be caught unawares. And it ain't going to be our fault because they've been warned. I'm like, if somebody shows me the scriptures and the scriptures are clear and plain and say what it says, like for instance, Yeshua says, I've come not to destroy the law, but you're going to say he did, right? I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm going to believe Yeshua over you. I don't care what you say with your Christianese again. You know what I'm saying? If you Swift, you know what I'm saying, right? But understand this, that everything's in place. It's just the smoke that I'm waiting for, right? And I think the smoke is about to happen. Now, maybe they're going to wait until the fall of not the fall, but the beginning of next year. Maybe they'll wait that long. I don't know. All I know is I see pieces put into place. I see them, let's put it that way. But let me put it back when I play my brother chess. I see when my brother making moves. I see when he set up his traps and his pawns and his knights and stuff, right? How he trying to draw me in. I see it, right? That's what I see with them. I see them moving the pawns. They're moving their pieces. They're setting up for the trap. And then we're going to have a checkmate, right? Somebody's about to get checkmated, right? And you know who I think it is. It's going to be Babylon. Y'all keep tripping. Y'all keep tripping and act like the most powerful nation in the history of the world ain't in the Bible. Y'all keep doing that foolishness and believe that, because guess what? You're going to be caught unawares. things are happening. They happening quickly. I can't cover everything anymore. There's so many prophecies. I guarantee you, since we've been on live, something else has happened. Look how fast what happened over the weekend with Israel. I'm just saying, don't be surprised, because guess what? It's all scripted. Oh yeah, I believe it's scripted. That don't mean a lot of people ain't gonna be deleted. It's all scripted. It's scripted that way. And it's scripted for you to need help. It's scripted for you to call on the United Nations. It's scripted for you to call on Red Cross. It's scripted for you to call on FEMA. It's scripted for you to depend on the system. It's scripted for you to need some food, some water, some electricity while you suffering and hurting. You ain't got no money, right? And we're spoiled. We are spoiled. Americans, Europeans, Westerners, we're all spoiled. Why? Because we got nice roads for the most part, and we have consistent electricity, right? And we have access to food. We just go down the street and get some food, but that's about to change. Don't believe me. You ain't got to. I told you you're going to be pushed out. You're going to have to flee. That's what the scripture says. I'm just a Bible man. I believe the scriptures. Maybe some of y'all don't. I'm not telling you to do anything. I know one thing. You better have a little extra cash, a little gold, a little food, a little water. Get some little something on the side just to be prepared. Always better to be a little prepared than not. Because guess what? We're going into the winter time, right? Remember what happened when the grid shut down in Texas? We're going into the winter time.
Well, let me add too that when our African brothers and sisters were in Ukraine trying to leave, they had to leave abruptly, and they had no food in their backpacks, no water, so they were hungry, right? They were thirsty. So you don't want that situation. So you to go back, at least you could have some bottled water and a couple of cans of something in there, right?
Definitely. So we only have 510 likes. We had 1,200 people in this room. I know some of y'all Gentiles, y'all ain't gonna never like the video. That's all right. But y'all that like this ministry, give me a like. Also, you can go ahead and share, right? And you can support us financially as patrons and Cash App. Ain't gonna be too much time left. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, it sounds like doom and gloom, but based upon what I see, cross your fingers. I mean, I guess I'm a Freemason now. I say cross your fingers. That's just an old terminology for saying, hey, be careful. That's all. Just be careful. Be prepared. Peace and blessings, Israel. Your captivity is ending. Love you with the Lord and Messiah. And please support the Dry Bones Project.